reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. I'm reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. They call it painkiller, let it go, painkiller. I need another painkiller. I'm reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. They call it painkiller, let it go. Reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. I'm reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. They call it painkiller, let it go, painkiller. I need another painkiller. I'm reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. They call it painkiller, let it go. In my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. I'm reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. They call it painkiller, let it go, painkiller. I need another painkiller. I'm reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. They call it painkiller, let it go, painkiller. I need another painkiller. I'm reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. They call it painkiller, let it go, painkiller. reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. I'm reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. They call it painkiller, let it go, painkiller. I need another painkiller. I'm reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. They call it painkiller, let it go. Reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. Reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. They call it painkiller, let it go, painkiller. I need another painkiller. Reaching in my cupboard for a painkiller. I need another painkiller. They call it painkiller, let it go.
Good morning or afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday Casual Chat Show.
How's it going, everyone?
It looks like it's just Booze and I today. We might have the rat fill in, or Geo might show up. We don't know.
Yep. And so far, we've got Vince and Smalls in the chat. Hey, Vince. Hey, Smalls. How you guys doing?
Yep. How's it going, guys?
It is a slow fucking day.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. How's your week been?
It's been all right for the most part. Basically took it kind of slow. I've only streamed twice this week. No, 3 times. I did a Twitch stream in the middle of the morning.
I'm back to my original streaming schedule.
Oh, well, that'd be why the coffee didn't brew, because it's not actually plugged in.
That explains a lot.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, my coffee's done. I come out here, there's nothing. I'm like, no!
Well, for anyone that doesn't know, most of our country has been covered in riots and protests. We have some of you foreigners having your own, in solidarity ostensibly. Personally, I call bullshit, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't really support the riots. I get the need for the protest, but I don't agree with the rioting and looting.
You see, the thing is, the protests, while should have been over police brutality, were ostensibly over Floyd, and the people involved in that have already been arrested.
Yeah.
It's like, what more are you expecting to happen? We're going to try them under the court of law as we would anyone else. That takes a little time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what people are expecting. If we protest, they'll go to prison today. What? No, that's not the legal system.
No. They might go to jail for the weekend if it's a Friday. For anyone. Because bail bonds don't open over weekends.
Yep.
So pro tip, don't get arrested on a Friday.
Yeah.
Well, Friday night.
Yeah.
Man, even the chat's slow today.
Right.
Oh well, it is the casual chat show.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
I guess I will take us into an article.
Okay.
Let's see, where do we want to start? How about a little bit of science from space?
As opposed to, I was going to make a weird joke, but I realized that science isn't just space. I was like, oh yeah, science from space as opposed to science from Earth. And I'm like, that actually is a thing.
Yes, it is. But scientists discover a distant mirror image of the Earth and the Sun. Now, I know what you're
Wait,
thinking
what's
initially.
that? They found a mirror. Say that again.
They found a distant mirror image of the Earth and the Sun. I know what you're thinking is that they found a actual reflection of the Earth and Sun. That does not seem to be the case. They're taking a little bit editorial here. They found another planet that's in the Goldilocks zone around a similar size sun to Sol.
Okay. I was first thinking that, yeah, they found some sort of like alternate Earth Sun planet place, which then I was immediately thinking of the science fiction BDSM series called Gore, where there's a planet called Gore, which is an identical Earth on the other side of the sun.
Huh. And we never see it because it's opposite us. Yeah, I'm familiar with the idea.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. Scientists have discovered a potentially habitable exoplanet and its star that are a mirror image of the Earth and the Sun. Experts from Max Planck Institute for Solar System Research in Göttingen, Germany, led an international team of astronomers in the discovery of the exoplanet star pair. Exoplanet KOI 456.04 is less than twice the size of Earth, but orbits a sun-like star, explains the Max Planck Institute in a statement. Could have left off the last half of that sentence entirely. Must be meeting a word count.
Right.
That bodes poorly for the rest of the article.
Yeah.
The star was just over 3,000 or 300. I can't math. The star is just over 3,000 light years from the solar system. From the solar system or our solar system? That's a big difference.
Just
the solar system. Well, the last solar system it referenced was its solar system. So the sun is 3,000 light years from its own solar system?
Yes.
I'm not seeing the mirror image thing here.
Right. Yeah.
A light year, which measures distance in space, equals about 6 trillion miles. Roughly, yeah. KOI 456.04 sits in a region of the stellar habitable zone. The distance range around a star emitting liquid surface water on an Earth-like planet that is comparable to the Earth's position around the sun, the scientists add in a statement. Yes, the Goldilocks zone. Which is a variable depending on the size of the sun in question. Experts also note that KOI 456.04's host star is unlike the central stars of most other exoplanets. Its host star, called Kepler 160, actually emits visible light. The central stars of almost all other exoplanets, on the other hand, emit infrared radiation, are smaller and fainter than the sun, and therefore belong to the class of red dwarf stars, explains the Institute in a statement. The research is published in the Journal of Astronomy and Astrophysics. Scientists used a new search algorithm to discover planet candidate KOI 456.04, which has a 1.9 Earth radii and an orbital period of 378 days. The surface conditions of a KOI...
There's got to be a shorthand name for K.
I'm just going to call it KOI.
Koi. Okay.
The surface conditions from Koi could be similar to those known on Earth, provided its atmosphere is not too massive and non-Earth-like, explains the Max Planck Institute in a statement. Could they not just list the scientists from the Max Planck Institute? I mean, it just feels awkward to repeatedly
I
say
guess not.
Max Planck Institute in a statement. Did they explain it in a question? Or was it exclaimed even?
Right?
Sorry, filling in for
I do like
Dio
the
and the
name
whole...
Max Planck because,
Well, I mean, you put Max in front of
yeah,
any name, you've got something good going on there.
well, this is true. This is true. But because Planck lengths are, I believe, the smallest unit of measure. There might be one under, but I don't know.
Not
I don't
sure.
think so. And and if you start using Planck lengths into your vocabulary, you can really insult the dick size of somebody. Be like, you're only a half a Planck length long.
Indeed. Also, we've been joined by the lovely Kay Shul and Joys of Sorrow. Welcome.
Yep. Welcome, guys.
Let's see. The amount of light received from its host star is about 93% of the sunlight received on Earth. However, experts also note that more data is needed to formally declare Koi a planet. It cannot currently be ruled out completely that Koi is in fact a statistical fluke of a systemic measurement error instead of a genuine planet, they write. The team estimates the chances of a planetary nature of Koi to be about 85% pro-planet. Obtaining a formal planetary status requires 99%. The Soderberg Observatory in Germany, the University of Göttingen, University of California, Santa Cruz, and NASA also participated in the research. The Max Planck Institute, along with the international team of astronomers, was recently involved in the discovery of a massive rotating disk galaxy from the early universe. I am a bit confused by we're 88% or 85% sure it's a planet.
Well, they can't really just, we don't have anybody to go out there and check, really. We just have,
Well, I'm wondering what the options are with it being, just under twice the size of the Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, are we going to go, it's just a orbital body. It's an asteroid. I kind of feel like there would be objective measurements to what is a planet. So we're slightly sure it's a planet. It just seems a bit weird.
I don't know. If video games, the space exploration video games have the ability for you to go scan a star system and be able to tell if there's planets there, why can't we do it, not in video games?
Yeah, I'm actually just going to chalk this explanation up to the writer on this one.
The writer doesn't know the difference between planets and rocks.
Like, somebody was explaining what was happening, and they're like, we're 85% sure that this is possible. And then they're like, oh, they're 85% sure it's a planet. I mean, generally, I don't confuse planets for other things. At least not when you're really observing things. Like, maybe at distance and first glance, it's a planet. No, it's just an orbiting asteroid in a belt, or a centaur, which is a orbital body outside of the actual orbit of the sun. We've got a few in our solar system.
So, not to be confused with a half man, half horse.
Yes. But hey, further possibility of life out there that we can astound with our own stupidity at some point.
Right. Oh man, I'm just really like in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, we've met another species. They're kind of human-like. They're a lot more advanced than us. And the first thing they did upon meeting us, facepalm.
That will almost exceptionally be
Just
what happens. Like,
right.
we're gonna be like the
Yeah,
rednecks
really?
of the universe.
Yeah.
Aliens will
Yeah,
finally
yeah,
find
we
us, and we're
were.
back here like backwater. Yeah, we're from Earth. Y'all ever heard of it?
Y'all got some beer in there? You got a 6-pack?
Fucking rolling
And
the
they're just
windows
like,
back up on their spaceship and driving off.
yeah.
Complete with 90s motorized window sound.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They report back home. So did you find any intelligent life out there? We found this planet with
It would just be no.
yeah, no. Nope, we didn't find any intelligent life out there.
Thus explaining all of the anal probing that have gone on throughout the years of people being abducted by aliens. They're just like, what the hell is wrong with these people? They're just looking far ahead. They think it's up there. uh, let's see. What else have we got?
Oh, that made me think of a joke. Yeah, the only reason why the aliens anal probe us is because they keep trying to figure out how we store our brains in our ass.
Yep. It's a grand mystery. We're the first species in the history of the universe to have a rectally housed brain. They're baffled by this.
Right. It's like, guys, just hang out with a human for like 5 minutes, and you will not only agree that yes, they rectally store their brain, but that their brain doesn't have any real neuron fires between one end and the other.
Yeah.
God, man, I'm imagining that they are using me as the specimen of humankind. Nope.
They're very hairy and they smoke a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next, let's get a little bit out there. We have the science of Seinfeld.
But that that's 2 words I have never expected to see combined together in a single sentence.
Nor
And
I, so I
also,
figured
hey,
it'd be worth a
Spinal and
read.
Dick. Yeah. Spinal and Dick Varian have joined us in the chat.
How's it going,
and
fellas?
so far as we can tell, Dick, no Dio.
This comes to us from The Conversation, which accounts itself as academic rigor with journalistic flair.
Okay.
It's been 31 years since a groundbreaking show about nothing first hit the air, and yada yada yada. What better time to revisit some memorable moments from Seinfeld that left viewers shouting, "Get out!" and see what science has to say about the situation. I was a biology graduate student when Seinfeld first hit the air. The show not only provided a welcome reprieve from a tough day in the laboratory, but also fueled fun debates among us students as to whether the inane scenarios were plausible. 30 years on, these debates still swim in my head, better informed by the latest science relevant to them. Can men grow breasts big enough to need the bro? On season 6, episode 18, it was revealed that George's father, Frank, had something he wanted to get off his chest but couldn't. Man boobs. Moobs. After witnessing Frank's condition, Kramer was inspired to make the bro, or Mansier, who helped give Frank and his buddy support. The development of enlarged breasts in men is nothing new. It is a rather common medical condition called gynecomastia. Gynecomastia can arise when the body makes less testosterone relative to estrogen. These fluctuations in sex hormones can happen as a newborn develops during puberty or as a result of aging. In the young, the situation usually resolves on its own as hormones balance out. Certain medications, illegal drugs, and alcohol can produce gynecomastia as well. Men with this condition can opt for breast reduction surgery or wear a compression vest. Medications that reduce the effect of estrogen can also help.
I've been wanting to stop the author and be like, you're also forgetting that it's not the gynecomastia, whatever the hell word you said. I forgot already.
Gynecomastia.
Yeah, it's not just the hormonal tits. They forgot to also include fat ass in that. If you are a fat ass, you will have boobs.
Well, technically, that's just fat there. It's not really quite
Yeah.
the same as what they're describing here.
True. And
Also, I would
no,
like to point out, it doesn't actually answer the question. Like, it says, yes, men can develop boobs, or moobs, but it never says if they get big enough to require the bro or mensier.
you know, I was gonna say I've never seen anybody that fat, but there are those shows on like TLC, Discovery Channel, whatever. Those my 1,800-pound wife and
Well, you see,
shit
the
like
thing
that.
is, when you're just talking about a fat person, it's not really required. If the boobs are that big, they're still resting against the fat gut beneath them, not really requiring a bra for men.
Yeah, or women. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think they make bras for women who are,
No, those are called slings, and you use them to launch boulders at castles you're sieging.
Spinal. Oh my god, Dick. Oh, stop playing with my moves, Spinal. Okay, they're small and they fit in. They're like little A cups. Just leave them alone, okay?
He's part of the Tiny Titty Committee.
Exactly.
Let's see, next on the list we have, can someone die from licking envelopes? In season 7 finale, George and Susan were finally tying the knot and George's wallet was taking a beating. When George was presented with the option to save a few bucks by purchasing old wedding invitations, he leapt up the opportunity. As she licked the 200 envelopes, Susan became dizzy and, in a shocking twist, died in the hospital. The doctor stated that they found traces of a certain toxic adhesive commonly found in very low-priced envelopes. Another outlandish plotline, or could this really happen? According to How It Works, envelope glue is made from gum arabic, which is a product of the hardened sap from the acacia tree. It's a non-toxic substance often used in candy to bind ingredients together. Others state that dextrin, a edible carbohydrate produced by corn or potato starch, is used to make the adhesive. Most importantly, as far as I can tell, there is not a single report of someone dying from licking envelope glue. If you're still anxious about potential toxins in the adhesive, or simply don't like the taste, moisten the glue strip with a damp sponge instead of your tongue.
Yeah, or lick your finger, poke it, and rub your spit all over there.
Or
And then
honestly,
when
at
you-
this point in time, who the hell is sending envelopes?
Right? Okay, Grandpa, if you've got envelopes, man, nobody's gonna read them. Like, send me an email, Grandpa.
Like, you still get official statements and stuff like that, but it's very rare for it to actually have been a human sealed one. Most of them are
Right.
mass produced these days. It's like this is just a stamped version that has your name on it from a company because you owe them something, or
They're trying to get you to give them money for, other non-owing reasons. It's like we realize that you have never responded to our request to buy our internet. Would you still like to buy our internet?
Yep. And we've been joined by ESP and Fan. Welcome, ESP.
Welcome.
Let's see.
Have I tried to milk my own moves? No, Dick Barian. I have not tried to milk myself. I don't currently produce any milk.
Well,
While yes, it is scientifically possible for men to produce milk, it is a 99.99999999999 chance of you're not going to.
you just need to get one of those breast pumps and keep at it. Don't be a quitter.
I don't. That already, of all the like my wife did it. One of my ex-girlfriends, she had that when she was pregnant, and they all have told me one thing is in common. It is extremely uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, you're
I
basically
don't.
applying a vacuum cleaner to your nipples.
I mean, some people put their penises in vacuum cleaners.
And that's usually a terrible idea.
For me, I'm like, the human mouth does not at all do the same thing as a vacuum.
Well, it kind of does. I mean, a vacuum is just sucking air to create a void, and you can do that with a mouth, but the difference is the human mouth stops, the vacuum cleaner won't. And vacuums, nature doesn't like a vacuum, and if it can't fill it with air, it might try to fill it with blood from your penis.
Yeah. Spinal is asking if I can give myself a tit wink. Like, as
He's
I
not that
stated
big of a
earlier,
pants.
whoa, that's not what I was saying.
How else are you going to give yourself a tit wank?
Well, what I was saying was that my moobs aren't that big.
And I cut you short and called you tiny dick. I'm applying the entire plate concept from earlier.
You got your dick is a plank length long, boy. Woo! Sure, we'll go with the fact that my dick is too small and my man boobs are way too small. Hey, that's not what my wife says though. The penis part, not the man boob part.
Sure. Our next one is the government has been experimenting with pigmen. In season 5, episode 5, Kramer wanders into the wrong hospital room and makes a disturbing discovery. A pigman. Half man, half pig. All bacon. Kramer is further convinced Kramer is further convinced of the existence of pigmen when the next day a newspaper reads, "Hospital receives grant to conduct DNA research." In the end, we learn that the pigman was, of course, just a man who was about 5 feet, hairless, with a pink complexion. Kramer might come across as hipster doofus, but he's not entirely wrong here. Scientists have indeed been working on pig-human hybrids of sorts for decades. Doctors have been using porcine heart valves to replace damaged ones in humans since the 1960s. Since a pig's internal organs are roughly the same size as our own, pigs are good candidate animals in which human organs for transplantation could be grown. In 2017, Dr. Jun Wu of the Salk Institute published the first report of human tissue being grown in a pig embryo. Much more careful research lies ahead, but the pioneering study supports the idea that human organs could be manufactured in a pig.
Well, if we were to go kind of in the biblical direction here, the reason why the Jews don't eat pork is because God said that they are unclean due to their close relation to humans. And then there's the story about the humans he turned into pigs.
Well, that's kind of a common one too, because you have in Homer's Odyssey, you end up with Circe, who turns the crew into pigs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, yes, well, we have been trying to do hybrids of that sort for a while now.
And we don't just mean backwoods hybridization. In fact, but I'm not really certain how much I believe any of those stories. You know how like every now and again, every couple of years, there'll be this article of like some little village in India where there's a goat boy, and you're like, I wonder how much of any of that is actually true.
Well, you do have cases where hair spreads across the body like that, but actually being goat DNA, I'm going to call bullshit. There's more there's due to the high pollution in India, it's probably just a genetic mutation.
that a baby goat was born with a human's head, that type of thing.
Or a human boy was born with, a lot of fur.
Yeah. I've always just wanted to like be one of those people that like actually investigates those like that particular one. Now, there's obvious ones that you're like, I can tell that this is bullshit from a mile, and I can I can tell from what did you call the other that planet?
Koi. KOI
Koi. Yeah, we
456.04.
can Koi. Yes, when you can tell that, because most of the things you can tell is bullshit, even from Planet Koi. But
That
that's one
is
of those like
absolutely
bullshit type of
horrifying,
things.
Dick Barian. He's just sent me a picture of Hello Kitty dressed as a cowboy with the slogan "Lactose intolerant ain't gonna stop me milking your prostate."
Yeah, he sent me the same thing, and it is well, it is the usual Dick Barian fare. I to be honest though, if Dick sent me something that wasn't in this sort of same vein, I would ask him if he was okay.
Yes, I would normally show the meme, but in this case, Hello Kitty is highly copyright strike material. So, won't today.
Yeah, well, we can explain it like they're blind.
I just did.
It's a
Remember?
it's a white cat with a pink bow with milking prostates. There you go.
Let's see. Next on the list, I don't really think this is a science question. Not really.
Okay.
Why does Newman hate broccoli so much? He doesn't fucking like broccoli. It's taste.
Well, the reason why is because it is apparently considered a bitter vegetable, and
Well,
for
yes,
some
I
people,
actually know how we have broccoli.
oh,
It is a variation
aliens.
of the mustard plant, along with cauliflower, mustard greens, and I believe carrots. Actually,
Interesting. Out of all of those, I cannot eat cauliflower anymore, which I used to miss that because I used to really love cauliflower, but I cannot consume it. And apparently, people who have IBSD and IBSC and all that, we shouldn't eat broccoli or cauliflower because of the amount of uh, gas and just the overall type of fiber it is. Broccoli does nothing to me. Cauliflower cannot do. Turns my whole body into fire.
I rather enjoy both of them. Though you will not find them wild because we actually particularly grew them as mutations.
Yeah. I don't think I have ever. Yeah, that's one of those vegetables. It's like, yes, it exists and it's great that it exists, but like, if you're in a survival situation, you're not gonna like wander along in the woods and be like, wild broccoli.
Well, like I said, you may find one stalk of it in a completely random situation. And there might be a few scattered out there due to, them planting it, but it is not a natural plant. So if
Yeah.
humanity ever collapses, say goodbye to broccoli, cauliflower, and mustard greens.
I will only be able to say about two of those three.
And there'll be quite a
'Cause I
few
can't.
other fruits and vegetables that are actually genetic mutations that we've cultured that will probably go along with us.
Yeah. Corn.
Well, corn is pretty stable as what we've got right now.
Well, yeah, but corn has been one of the like heavily modified plants.
Yeah, it's considerably easier for someone to take a few of the modern corn kernels, save them, and use them to grow more. Versus you have to keep like a stalk of broccoli around to grow more broccoli.
True. However, 98% of the corn that is grown in America, you cannot grow it from seed.
Can, but it's technically illegal
Well, yeah, you're not
because
supposed to do it
it's
by seed, and then of all of the proprietary nonsense too.
yeah. It's very Fruits and vegetables in this country are major manufacturers are very heavily guarded secrets as to what they've done to them.
Yeah.
But anyway, in Season 8, Episode 8, Newman was challenged to eat broccoli but quickly gagged and demanded a honey mustard chaser to neutralize the taste. Newman is what scientists call a super taster, and he is not alone in hating broccoli. Approximately 25% of people are born with variations in genes like TAS2R38, which build taste bud receptors. Taste buds bind to chemicals in food and signal the flavor in the brain. Many plants, including broccoli, evolved to produce bitter-tasting chemicals like thiourea to avoid being eaten. Most humans don't register these chemicals as intensely bitter, but supertasters do. Supertasters are literally born with a tongue that is unusually sensitive to the bitter chemicals found in cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, which tricks their brain into thinking that food is poisonous. And that's not always the case. I am a supertaster, and I absolutely love broccoli. Particularly for the bitter taste.
Super taster. And yeah, I love that so quote unquote bitter taste of broccoli, which at times, well, I also have I am an umami. That's my area. I'm umami super taster, whatever you want to call it. Like that's my thing. So bitter, spicy, tangy, salty. That's my wheelhouse.
Mine's just all over the place, though. I do greatly enjoy sour foods. And sour candy.
Yeah. Like good old fashioned airheads, the sour ass airheads, man.
Mm-hmm.
Woo-wee. But those are like, that's just like a citric acid coating. That's not even really sour, is it?
Not really.
Yeah, it's more of like a momentary electrical discharge on the tip of your tongue.
No, Spinal, broccoli is not naturally occurring. Let's see. Next up, like a frightened turtle, why does it shrink? It being, of course, your penis. A trip out to the Hamptons. Go ahead.
I was just going to make a joke. Is it a single plank length?
Depends how cold it is outside. It's like a thermometer.
Yeah.
A trip out to the Hamptons is usually a pleasant outing, but in Season 5, Episode 21, Gary's girlfriend accidentally walks in on George as he's changing out of his swimsuit. After catching a glimpse of his manhood, she says, "I'm really sorry." George screams in self-defense, "Shrinkage! Shrinkage! I was in the pool!" George wasn't lying. Urologist Darius Paddock at Weill Cornell Medicine has stated that penis can shrivel by about 50% in length and 20 to 30% in girth in cold temperatures. The human body operates at an optimal temperature of 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. When we get cold, blood is redirected to our vital areas, namely our chest and head, to keep our heart and brain functioning properly. Consequently, this draws blood away from appendages like fingers, toes, and in males, the penis. When blood rushes away from the penis, it shrinks. The position of the testes is a reflex controlled by the cremaster muscle, which brings them closer to the body in colder temperatures to maintain the warmth needed for sperm production.
The first quarter of that sentence was like, no shit, Sherlock.
Mm-hmm.
When cold, penis shrinks. Yes. No shit.
Interestingly enough, formerly in Okinawan karate, they actually trained to master the cremaster muscle so they could retract their own testicles and prevent being kicked in the nuts.
That's talented, or...
Yes, Okinawan karate was quite well known for its devotion to bodily control of that nature.
So the peen is not essential?
Not when it's cold.
Yeah, not when it's cold. Then I was going to make a really bad joke about Volgothans. So does that mean all Volgothans have tiny dicks because it's so cold all the time in Volgoth?
That's why we have Volgothan women.
Yes. And unlike dwarves, our women do not have beards, so you can tell the difference right away.
Let's see. Next we have why you shouldn't stress a model. Everything in life is coming up roses after George has a chance encounter with a hand modeling agent in Season 5, Episode 2. Thanks to avoiding manual labor his whole life, George's hands are exquisitely smooth and creamy, delicate yet masculine. I doubt it. Appreciating that his extraordinary hands are the ticket to a new life, George protects them by wearing oven mitts and warning his bickering parents that stress is very damaging to the epidermis. It is tempting to assume that George is simply making excuses to get his parents to stop arguing, but science supports his assertion. Stress causes all sorts of health issues in the body, and the skin, our largest organ, is no exception. The body responds to stress by releasing hormones like cortisol, which causes inflammation. In the skin, cortisol increases the production of oils, which can cause breakouts and exacerbate skin conditions such as psoriasis or eczema. Stress hormones negatively impact the immune system and epidermal defenses, making the skin more susceptible to infection. Stress also causes some people to bite their nails, which could easily ruin a hand modeling gig.
Yeah, I been chewing my fingernails since I was little, and I definitely do not have the hands of a model at all. For one, I have scars over most of my fingers. And I don't have I chew all my fingernails down to the nub.
Yeah, mine are just kind of beat to shit. Between, busting bones and stabbing wounds and stuff like that.
Vince is yeah, Volgothan women's beards are grown below the waist. Yes, those are called lady beards.
Clam stash.
Yeah, that too.
Well, that was the
But
end of that
clam
arc.
stash just sounds like you have like your own secret stash of clams, though.
Well, I
You got
mean,
that clam stash, bro.
look, what ladies want to keep down there is up to them. It occasionally already smells of fish, so
Yeah, that I understand that bacteria is the primary source of what the oil factory system picks up and makes odors, but it's like fish flesh is completely different from human mammal flesh. So how would they in turn smell the same? Obviously, it's because it's the same sort of bacteria, but it's like if you don't think about it in the bacteria sense, it's like how is meat smelling like fish?
well, honestly, I've never actually experienced a woman smelling like fish, so I don't know.
I have not experienced it in the close-up sense, but I lived in San Francisco. I don't need to include anything more there. I lived in San Francisco. There are nasty, dirty crackhead women and filthy fucking hippies. And yeah.
Oh, that's going to put. I'm going to skip that for now.
Yeah.
Article here about black nitrogen. Scientists solve a puzzle of the periodic table. But this is some fucking dense ass science shit.
I'm making a what did you say? Black hydrogen?
Black nitrogen.
Black nitrogen lives matter. Can't forget about our black nitrogen brothers, okay, Dio? I mean, you're not Dio.
No, I'm not.
No. Yeah. You're actually funnier. Ah! That
But,
was a jab at Dio.
I would have gone with I'm actually here, but
Yeah, that.
All right. Let's see. We
Is
got.
there a way that you can quickly shorten, or summarize black
Oh,
nitrogen?
probably not. Let's see. I mean, maybe if I could read through the entire article while somebody distracted the audience, but that's putting that all on you. Roughly, it seems to
I
be a
can.
high pressure variation of nitrogen caused by putting it between two diamonds.
That I don't. My brain is not computing how that works. But then again, my brain keeps putting two diamond rings together, and
Honestly, that's kind of like what they
yeah,
were fucking showing in the picture here.
which I don't see how like that has to do with. I mean, yes, the diamond is going to be able to withstand probably the most high pressures that you can do, but it's just let's shove two diamonds together and blow gas at it. Who comes up with this shit?
Well, apparently this was a idea based off one of the general rules of the periodic table. Well, at least with the gases, carbon, oxygen, other light minerals, or other light elements under high pressure, they have the similar structures to heavier elements in the same group of elements, except for nitrogen.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, if you want to read the article to do a synopsis, I guess I can talk to them, but if you don't want to, then obviously
we'll
don't
just
worry.
come back to it. I've got plenty of other stuff.
Okay.
Like this ancient leather mouse highlights the Roman sense of humor.
Mhm.
The nearly 2,000-year-old scrap of leather, found in Vindolanda in northern England, may have been a toy or a practical joke. Honestly, this looks more like somebody used it for a stamp than anything. Like, imagine you took a piece of leather and roughly cut it into the shape of what a rat would be, and it's still flat.
Uh, man, if only Rat were here, we could.
Yep. Let's
Speaking
see.
of rats,
Speaking of rats, what now?
oh, you were because you made the talking about the medieval rat toy thing,
I thought you had something else to
and
say
I
when you
was
said
just like,
speaking of rats. Though, looks like
oh, I was
YouTube's
talking
fucking
about
up right now.
Ratty, our smoking rat. Yeah, I saw it buffering on my end for some reason.
Apologies, everyone. I am watching the stream health
YouTube has
bounce
been being a
between
real.
perfectly green and red rapidly at the moment.
Yeah, I hate when that happens, and it's got to be on YouTube's end on that bullshit. Like, the other day, I was trying to. It might have been yesterday or the day before. No, it was Thursday. No, Saturday. So that was yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yes, yesterday was
I don't
Saturday.
know. You're taking too long to explain some. Well, yes, I know yesterday was Saturday, but I don't remember the day when I was doing this thing. But every time I hit start stream on OBS, YouTube didn't pick it up.
Yeah, they really just don't seem to have anybody actively at the company to do anything. But the stream seems to have stabilized now, finally.
Yeah,
And I'm
it does.
showing
Yeah, it looks a lot better on my end too.
no dropped frames on my end, so it has to have been YouTube doing that.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the story here. Researchers at the Roman fort of Vindolanda in northern England recently discovered a mouse-shaped strip of leather while sorting through previously excavated materials, reports De La Alberge of The Guardian. The find, which dates to between 105 and 130 AD, is thought to have been a toy or practical joke, according to a statement from Vindolanda Museum. Measuring around 5 inches long and 1 inch wide, the swath of leather boasts ears, forelegs, and a long tail, as well as scratches along its body perhaps meant to simulate fur. A fabulous little piece. We weren't expecting to find something like that, curator Barbara Burley tells The Guardian. If you are working in a dark Roman room because you didn't have a huge amount of indoor lighting, you could definitely see it as a little mouse, especially because it's not like Mickey Mouse with big ears. It looks very realistic. I mean, maybe if you ran a rat over with a tire until it was flat.
Yeah, if the smoking rat were here, we'd have to ask him. So if we run you over with a car, will you look like this?
I'm sure he's going to say no. Vindolanda sits 1 mile south of Hadrian's Wall, a 73-mile stone barrier constructed around 122 AD, to mark the edge of the Roman Empire and defend against incursions by the unconquered tribes of Scotland, according to Encyclopedia Britannica.
See, Rome had it right. They were even building the wall back then.
Damn Scots!
Build the wall. Go ahead.
The fort itself predates Hadrian's Wall. Established as a permanent outpost by the late 80s AD, Vindolanda was classic turf and timber example of the Romans' playing card-shaped military complexes, wrote Mike Ibige of the BBC History in 2012. The fort acted as an important base when the wall was under construction, keeping the project supplied with materials and labor. Between its creation and the end of the Roman occupation of Britain in the early 5th century, Vindolanda was demolished and rebuilt 9 times, according to the museum. After Rome's exit, the site remained occupied for some 400 years, but by the 9th century it had fallen into disuse. To date, excavations have produced an archaeological bonanza of military equipment, personal effects, and, perhaps most significantly, wooden writing tablets detailing daily life at the fort.
Well, and don't forget our rat's relative.
Yes. I can just imagine it now. It's a good Roman name.
Claudius McRatus. No, why would you do McRatus?
I can just imagine Claudius down there like, today was a boring day. Julius Caesar's being a bitch back in Rome again.
Huh. When you said that, you sounded a little bit like Peter Griffin.
Well, I was kind of going for the dopey sound here.
Yeah, Peter can't help doing it. I mean, Peter's voice is like half Yiddish, half like New York or something or other, and
Yeah,
then
it's
definitely
Bostonian out of the side of your mouth, but with a bit of stupid in it. I'm Peter
Yeah.
Griffin.
Yeah, apparently, if you do a Boston accent with a bit of stupid in it, it's Yiddish. Because apparently, people say that his is also a Yiddish accent.
Well, ostensibly, the way it's produced is talking out the side of your mouth, so.
Yeah.
Let's see. Archaeologists are still sorting through the array of artifacts discovered at the site. Researching the collection is an ongoing process, the museum notes in the statement. It can take years after the excavation for every scrap and offcut to be examined. With the fort and other British heritage sites closed due to COVID-19, staff had ample time to revisit previously excavated objects. Like, I can see how somebody would make this, but, you know, I feel like more could have been done to it if it was a practical joke to make it realistic.
Maybe it had other things and they're not there anymore.
No, it really looks like it's just, a cutout. Let me share it onto the stream.
Like the little Nazi uniform for the mouse could have fallen off.
Give it a moment and you should be able to see it.
And I wonder if I don't think anybody caught why I said the mouse had a Nazi uniform.
Yes, I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. Oh, that looks like if Rat got ran over by a car. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I don't see how, like, that's not a very good practical joke.
No, and argue what you will, I kind of feel like the ancient Romans would have been able to do a little bit better if they were really putting some effort into it. This is more like, I was bored, so I made a rat.
And thus, Smoking Rat's life story was presented.
In this case, the leather mouse emerged from a bag of scrap leather first discovered during a 1993 dig at the residence of a commanding officer. The strata of the
So
find
he
dates it
might
to
have,
this.
when you said that, immediately jumped in my head of, oh, so somebody in their spare time, or they had somebody working on their property or whatever who was a leather worker, and they had some leather left over, so they made a toy for their kid. That
Basically. Let's see, the strata of the find dates it to the 2nd century when the first Tungarins, inhabitants of what is now Belgium, were stationed at the fort. Damn Belgians. Fuck, I hate Bruges.
Isn't Belgium like Belgium? Isn't that like a country that's like part France, part Germany, and nobody cares about them?
It's a weird little country. Yes, definitely.
When was the last time you heard like what is Belgium famous for other than waffles, which I don't
Chocolate.
even think can
Poirot.
say. Okay, I don't know what that last one was.
Poirot? A famous
Yeah,
detective. Well, novel detective. But by Agatha Christie. He was Belgian. Always preferred fish to feed the little grey cells.
I used to read a lot of Agatha Christie, and I don't
Murder on the
remember
Orient
that.
Express. Murder on the Nile.
Yeah,
Those are Poirot.
I've read the first one, but not the second one.
The spelling is Poirot, but it's pronounced Poirot.
Oh, Poirot. Okay. Yeah, I think I might know who you're talking about now more when you gave the spelling. But then it's been since like middle school and high school since I read an Agatha Christie book, and that is a long time ago.
I still like to break out And Then There Were None and read through it. That's my personal favorite of her works.
I would have to say though, out of all of the like, I guess modern horror writers, or sorry, mystery thriller sort of mystery, not really horror, because horror would be more like Clive Barker. She is probably my number one favorite mystery author. She just has this way of telling you a story that, so you know, like a lot of times when you're reading a story from an author, you kind of know what the author is going to get at before the author gets there because they've led you along holding your hand the entire way. Yeah. Agatha Christie's books don't do that for me. I am like just spellbound, waiting at the edge of my chair, waiting to see what clue I get next, while going, I still don't know who did this murder. What the hell?
Yeah,
you were gonna say something.
Older mystery writers like that had that style for a little bit, and honestly, I think there's a movie that actually makes fun of that. That's got a couple of main stars. I'd have to look it up to remember the name. Oh shit! I actually own a copy of it on Amazon. Did I just cut out? It's oddly quiet.
Oh, no, you said you had a copy of it on Amazon, and then that was it.
Yes. Oh.
I thought you were going to say more, so I waited.
So, we'll move on to the next article. That one's done. I was hoping for a little bit more, but, you know, it's a leather rat.
Yeah, see, if the smoking rat were here, we could have turned this into a whole segment. But, alas, not even he is here.
Let's see. Next, we have humor comes at a price in Morocco and Tunisia. 2 women face justice for COVID-19 jokes.
What?
I think, given how they're writing this, I'm going to read this in a noir style. It all started with harmless jokes. Because they chose humor to push back against the coronavirus and lockdown-generated anxiety, a young Moroccan woman is now in prison, and a Tunisian woman could soon share her fate. In Morocco, the story takes place in Merzouga, a small Saharan locality renowned for its postcard sand dunes. In early April, a young woman, perhaps to console herself for being locked a stone's throw from a fabulous natural landscape, performed a comedy sketch. In a 15-second video posted on the social network TikTok, she imitates the Qaeda Huria, a local security figure who gained notoriety from her unique way of scolding Moroccans who don't comply with the mandatory lockdown. The imitation is well executed and funny. The authorities apparently didn't laugh. A few days ago, the young woman was arrested and sentenced to 2 months in prison, which she is currently serving in Eritrea. The main charge against
2
her...
months in prison. Go ahead, just
The main charge against her is that during the sketch, she wore a military uniform in violation of Article 382 of the Penal Code, prohibiting unauthorized public wearing of an official uniform. The uniform she wore in the video belonged to a friend who is a member of the local security forces. Tunisian blogger Imna Chargwe also wanted to share a smile when she reposted on Facebook a short text entitled Surah Corona, written and formatted in a light-hearted spirit in the manner of a Quranic surah. It backfired. On May 4th, the judicial police summoned her. 2 days later, no fewer than 7 members of a public prosecutor's office interrogated her. According to Chargwe, one of them said, "There is no freedom of expression when it comes to religion." On May 6th, Chargwe was charged with inciting hatred between religions through hostile means or violence, under Article 52 of the Press Freedom Decree Law. She faces up to 3 years in prison.
That totally sucks for her, but that's hilarious for these fucking countries.
In crisis situations like the COVID-19 pandemic, international law allows authorities to exceptionally prohibit some types of speech, the consequences of which could endanger public health. This doesn't include jokes unless you consider laughing a health hazard.
No, it's a health benefit. And my answer to sum up this entire article is America, fuck yeah.
Exactly.
Because we have freedom.
America, fuck yeah.
Coming to save the motherfucking day, yeah. Terrorists, your day. Don't make me sing because I already forgot the rest of the lyrics.
And we really don't want to hear you sing anyway. It's worse than mine, which is saying something. It's a high bar to reach. And then, you know, like clear it, like you just pole vaulted over it, and
yeah. This bar that is literally on the ground, I just pole vaulted over. Yep. And now it's, yeah.
They'll just clean right over it. Let's see, Murder by Death was the name of the movie I was thinking of.
Murder by Death. Murder by Death. Wow.
Got Peter Falk, Alec Guinness, Peter Sellers, Eileen Brennan, Truman Capote, and James Coco in it.
Wow. I don't know who James Coco is, but
you'd recognize him if you saw him. He did a lot of Western stuff.
Oh yeah, I probably would have recognized him. I've watched a lot of Western stuff. Was movies or TV shows or both?
Movies mainly is where I recognize him from. It's bit role stuff, but it's not like he played so and so in this movie. It's just, you know, like, oh, he was a background character in 2 Mules for Sister Sarah or something.
I need to watch more Western movies. I watched a lot of Western TV shows, especially growing up as a kid. Bonanza, the Wagon one, Ponderosa, The Rifleman. I grew up watching. I still watch those shows.
See, I was never much for Western shows. I liked some of the movies, but eventually I realized that most of the Western movies that were popular were actually remakes of Japanese samurai movies. And I just started watching the samurai movies.
Yeah, they kind of were. There was this weird period of time where Western was essentially just Eastern with a hat and a
Yeah,
gun.
I mean, there's a lot of crossover in thematic style. And Vincent says Wagon Train was the wagon one you couldn't remember.
Oh yeah.
But honestly, from my experience, majority of Clint Eastwood cowboy movies are actually stories taken from the Zatoichi film series.
This might be like anathema to say, but I do find a lot of Clint Eastwood's movies, not all, and not a lot of it, some of his later stuff, but there was definitely a large handful of his movies that, in my opinion, were the same. Like he was just playing the same character.
He was. It's actually a character known as the Man with No Name.
Yeah.
And it's the same character in, I think, about 6 of his movies, officially. Because you've got the Man with No Name trilogy, which is Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More, and shit, I can't think of the last one. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Of course. Why the fuck would I forget that one? But
I thought that was one you were going to refer to. I was like, he better say that, but I don't know. I'm not.
For some reason, it just left my head. But it's also the same character in Two Mules for Sister Sarah, and another 2 movies which I can't think of the name of. But
so he's a fan of that trope. That which isn't that also kind of isn't that like a martial arts trope too? Aren't there many stories of the fighter with no name that comes into the town?
Well, you've got the wandering expert, which is a major trope, but the whole, like, literally the character is referred to as the Man with No Name because at no point in any of the movies is he referred to by name.
Well, yeah. And sometimes, which Clint Eastwood was able to kind of do, is that sometimes that's a really good way to present a character, is if you can just be really strong as the character, you don't even need to have a name. Name is incidental and not necessary if you act the character right.
And I believe for Fistful of Dollars is actually the same story plot as Zatoichi's Pilgrimage, which you can't actually get with the box set, which annoys me. I'd like to buy the 38-disc box set and own all of the Zatoichi movies.
38 discs? Oh, yeah, because of all the movies. I was just like, Jesus Christ, that's a big movie.
Shintaro Katsu played Zatoichi for all 38 movies, as well as the TV series that ran for 63 episodes, which basically just covered the movies, as well as directing them.
I just thought of a new fun show idea that you and I could totally do together. Great old spaghetti western, movies of this type of stuff. We could do a freaking watch thing. We could stream it somewhere, where we watch the movie together, pause it, make commentary, take breaks, talk to other fans,
No. It's just finding ways to, stream it properly without getting taken down midstream.
Well, the one way that I was thinking of doing something like that would be, of course, would be for just our fans would only be able to really watch instead of just the regular public. We could stream in Discord.
We could.
Yeah. But I don't know, that just seemed like a really cool, because I don't know, it just seems like a really cool idea. For one, it would allow, me and or you to be able to just pick up on watching things that we hadn't had the chance to watch or just to be able to see again. And then, that's more content for both of us to be putting out. And I think that'd be kind of fun. Like, especially because I have a feeling that you have a wide repertoire of knowledge when it comes to movies in this genre, and you would be able to have constantly great selections.
Well, for those of you that don't know, back in my early 20s, I did actually start a independent movie production company. And I went along with the whole pretentious independent movie production thing and watched a lot of your classics as inspiration. To say, I've watched this too. And so, yes, I do have a large backlog of movies that are considered obscure and artsy that really aren't in retrospect.
Yeah. But if that's like a fun idea, we could talk that out at some point.
Well, something to look into. And
Yeah.
I do enjoy any excuse to go back and watch the Zatoichi movies. There are a few
So yeah,
on YouTube available to watch. I'm quite fond of Zatoichi's Flashing Blade myself.
cool. We could do an episode where we watch that, and we could, I guess, probably, I guess we would stream it on Discord until we could find some place. Like, I don't know, what does what the fuck? It's the social network that uses blockchain, BitChute or whatever.
BitChute does not have streaming capability yet.
Okay. What are there any ones out there that do and
I
are a
mean,
little
as far as
less?
watching stuff on YouTube and just capturing with OBS, you can do that with Watch Together, but very few places really allow you to sit there and just stream a movie. At least with any sort of everyone sit down and watch it together capacity. You can do it through Discord, and then there is one other I can't remember the name of, but that's like their own site, and it's sort of dedicated to that.
There's Twitch that does that too, but that's like you have to be doing it with Twitch approved things or
Yeah. Wolf and Cub is a classic. All three of them. Those are excellent watches, Vince. As well as Shintaro Katsu's own works, Hanzo the Blade,
yeah.
where he plays a medieval Japanese detective who often gets confessions from women with his dick, which he is so expert in using, he can even fuck through a cement block.
Wait, what?
You heard me correctly. It is some beautiful B-movie stuff that Shintaro did after Zatoichi, and I love it.
How did he fuck through a cinder block? What?
Training. He literally sits there, and there is a scene in the first movie where he's sitting there training his body with all of these, blocks to make himself stronger and thrusting into them to strengthen his penis. Keep in mind, these are from the early mid-'80s.
Yeah, so it's gonna be terrible.
It's the right kind of terrible.
Yeah. I just for some reason don't think that bashing your dick into things is A, gonna make it stronger, or B, allow you to have the same level of sensation and stimulation necessary for ejaculation.
Well, it's martial arts logic. It doesn't
'Cause
matter if you believe it.
Well, yeah, because like there have been people that have autistically nerded out and went into the whole scientific ramifications of how Superman could never actually have sex with Lois Lane or most humans, pretty much anybody for that matter. Because if his body already has high damage resistance, high pain resistance, and is basically nigh invulnerable, that doesn't do anything down there if you're human. If Superman fucks a human, A, the human is gonna die when he jizzes. And two, Superman can't feel any of that. It's not gonna do anything for him.
Well,
If he
then he
can
wouldn't be
stop a
able to feel
motherfucking
anything with
bullet
his
with his
fingertips
eyeball.
either.
Wait, you cut out there. What did you say?
He wouldn't be able to feel anything with his fingertips either. It would make sensation of being able to interact with things impossible as well under that logic. I'm guessing he just doesn't have unmyelinated nerve endings, which is what we used to sense pain.
Yeah.
If we had to break it down scientifically.
Spinal's right. Superman is either a virgin or a murderer. I wonder if like the first time he was out in the barn, the barn that they did it in Smallville and in the other cartoons and episodes, the barn he hung out in. Imagine he's rubbing it out for the first time and he lets one go and he shoots a hole from out of the roof. I think he might learn at that point that he can never do this to anyone.
Shoots it through walls. That is a possibility, I suppose.
Yeah, which is the reason why the movie John Hancock did that, by the way. Because that movie is like basically Superman, but like trope it to the max. That's the John Hancock movie with Will Smith, and yeah, there's this sex scene or whatever. He blows the hole through the roof with his jizz.
Yep.
Yeah, and as Vince brings it up. Yep. But yeah, those are all tropes from What Ifs of Superman, and then they made a movie out of it. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if they ever actually did it so much in the comic books as they did in some of the movies, but later on they just decided to have Superman and Wonder Woman sort of become a thing, because those are probably the only two that could have actual.
Well, you see, the comic books also didn't play around so much with the whole blocking bullets with his eyeball thing. That's really just from movie shots.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they never really do anything.
It looks cool, but
yeah, that definitely does look cool to block a bullet with your eyeball, which I'm sure comic book wise he could, but what's the necessity for that?
right.
Yeah, and that's only something that would work visually that's the only thing you would really want to do in a movie anyway. Like it totally, I get it. I would have done something like that too, because that's something you wouldn't be able to properly explore that in a comic book. It would be way too just, oh look, gunfired, oh look, it's a close up of the bullet on the eye, and there's no good transition between A and B. It's just A, B. And a movie would be able to do all of that beautifully.
Yeah, see, I never consider movies for stuff like this to be canon, or for anything in them to be considered proper canon.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because there's going to be shit that you have to do on screen because you're on screen. You can visually tell this story, and you can visually do things.
Yeah, there are some shots like the bullet to the eyeball that, yeah, it looks really cool. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it looks really cool to do in a visual.
Yeah.
So in my mind, to give Superman some credit, his bullet resistance is an active ability where he, flexes against it.
Yeah. I don't think you can flex your eyeball.
No.
I mean, but if you could, I guess if you could, Superman would probably be the idiot who could.
Yeah.
So, yeah, one thing I never completely understood about Superman is, if you really think about it, to be able to do a lot of the things that Superman can do, you have to have a high level of intelligence. However, he doesn't seem to display any of it.
No. Like, he has this whole Fortress of Solitude that's a high-tech computer, and all I can think is, when it crashes, he has to call Batman for tech support.
Right? He does.
And, it's not impossible for him to be intelligent, because we did have the one Flash that was actually a scientist, but also still a hyperspastic dumbass.
Yeah, Flash is kind of, in some ways, I've always felt in the DC universe, Flash is kind of the Deadpool of DC. O- Obviously, not exactly, but like behaviorally and you know, uh
I would have gone with Buster Gold
s-
as a more.
well, yeah, definitely. Booster Gold is definitely a lot more, because I mean, he's totally got the sidekick, and he's always like,
He's
having a side
underrated, but he is
conversation.
fully capable of, you
Oh
know.
yeah, I'm actually a huge Booster Gold fan. I uh that did you ever see the one-off movie?
I've seen a bit of it, but I've never actually watched the whole thing.
You should watch the whole thing. Give it at least probably two good watch throughs. The first one, just kind of, watch it, absorb it, just have fun with it. On the second one, kind of actually try to, you know, pick up details and character arc, stuff that, the actual meat and bones of the story. And yeah, Booster Gold is actually pretty freaking cool. Like, and he can totally handle his own in battles and shit. But he's the like C grade superhero. It's like he's a badass, but he's C grade. Did my audio cut out or
Now I can hear you. I just got a
okay?
pop up on something.
Ah,
Oh, should go ahead and share this out since it just crossed my board too. Thorn Midnight will be returning to streaming tonight on Twitch. He's been on hiatus for a little bit, so any of you that are fans of her, tune in and watch.
oh, cool. I don't know who Mirak is.
Mirak?
Yeah, is that DC?
Oh, I don't think so. I'm trying to remember who exactly Mirak is. I know the name, I'm not picturing him.
Skyrim? That's what I'm getting if I type in Mirak on
Well,
YouTube
I
and it comes up
mean,
with
if that's the
Skyrim.
Mirak he's talking about, that Mirak's a bitch.
Yeah, it's so far the only thing I'm getting is the this dragonborn looking person.
Yeah, that guy was a bitch. Like, his whole thing is he's ancient dragonborn, and he's got the. He wasn't the most powerful. I beat his ass with 2 toy wooden swords.
Uh, yes,
Mirak
Booster
these
Gold is
nuts.
the time traveler, Vince. Yeah. Vince was asking if Booster Gold is the time traveler. Yes, he
Yep.
is.
One of the many. EC had a lot of time travelers.
Yeah, but he was sort of like,
Like, it's.
in a way, he is kind of like in the Doctor Who, because Doctor Who just sort of bumbled around through time
Yeah.
and just kind of accidentally stumbled upon to things, which is kind of how Booster Gold did it. He was kind of stupid, but he was also really, like, I don't know, I guess you'd say like Flash and Booster Gold are kind of the
They do have a similar
Spider-Man.
archetypal personality.
Yeah, which is like the intelligence is hidden between high charisma and incessant talking. Kind of like me.
Except with intelligence. He's a bit of an ass, yes, Vince. And like I said, Spinal, Mirak these nuts. And just set it up so I can play the Lyra clip. But I keep forgetting to do that. But yeah, ironically, thinking about it, DC has a lot more time travelers, and Marvel used a lot more time travel.
Yeah. Well, it was like, if you think about it in the sense of how basically the formula of what DC heroes are and do time traveling isn't really necessary to the plot for the heroes to be doing, but it is necessary to the plots to have people jumping back and forth. Like, you don't need to build the machine and have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Flash go off to save the day through the time machine. But, you could totally have somebody from the other time coming to our present day, so to speak, DC time, to tell them about something horrible that's happening that they need to save now.
Well, you see, that was one of those things that was usually part of the Marvel storylines. It's just, it generally culminated with the info being sent back to the present, while all of the people all existing in the time travel were separate from standard causality. Sort of like, we've invented time travel, but we've gone back and stopped ourselves from time traveling. The classic Star Trek plot.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's where Marvel usually went in my experience. But, to move
Yeah,
on,
that does seem to be. Yeah,
before we
go
bore
ahead.
everyone with more comic book knowledge, we have this. Japan's video gaming grandma, 90, plays her way into record books.
Huh? Nice.
Every day, 90-year-old Japanese grandma Hamako Mori flexes her fingers to keep them nimble. Not for knitting or needlepoint, but to stay in shape for playing video games. The pensioner known as Gamer Grandma spends 3 or more hours a day battling monsters and going on missions in the virtual worlds of her favorite games, and even has a popular YouTube channel for her fans. "I'm passionate about playing games every day," the white-haired widow told AFP in an interview conducted by Video Chat. "Every day is an enjoyable day," she said, describing eviscerating on-screen foes as a fantastic stress reliever. Ori cuts an elegant, mild-mannered figure with her hair pulled back into a ponytail and a pair of large glasses perched on her nose. She's also wearing like a pink long sleeve shirt with a paisley vest. Like that classic old lady paisley that you would see at every old lady's house in the 90s. Yeah, it's a vest made out of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. If Dio were here, we could make a joke, be like, Dio, you need to get good, dude. Look, grandma's beating you.
She begins the video she posts on YouTube channel with a friendly konnichiwa and a bow. But her grandmotherly demeanor disappears when she plays, transformed into a gun-toting character in Call of Duty or a sword-wielding android in Nier Automata. Mori, who lives in Chiba, southeast of Tokyo, with her family, holds a Guinness World Record certifying her as the world's oldest gaming YouTuber.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
She always gets into the games, her only grandchild, 43-year-old Kisuki Nagao, told AFP. I think she is slightly different. Ordinary old people are not so enthusiastic about video games as she is. Mori isn't new to the gaming world and has played over... tongue-tied. Toy boat. Mori isn't new to the gaming world and has played some 200 titles since she took up the hobby some 4 decades ago. Her first console was a cassette Vision, which she bought in 1981 after being intrigued by her children's obsession with gaming. "I discovered there was this fascinating thing that existed in the world," she said. She has played most of the gaming world's smash hits, including Super Mario Bros., Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, and Call of Duty, and admits to sometimes staying up till 2 a.m. when she is sucked into a session. Her favorite games include action-adventure games Grand Theft Auto and popular fantasy role-playing game Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. "You can do whatever you want to in a game," she said, describing them as motivation in life. Ori usually plays alone at home, but launched a YouTube channel in 2014 to connect with other gamers. She posts new videos filmed by her grandson 3 or 4 times a month and has attracted 300,000 subscribers and millions of views with content featuring her gaming, but also showing her daily life. "It's fun being watched by a lot of people rather than playing alone," she said with her gamer grandma. She said of her Gamer Grandma channel. Among her videos is one showing her blowing out candles on a cake to celebrate her 90th birthday with her family. Another features her unboxing a brand new PlayStation console. At 90, Mori is fighting fit, but she says some state-of-the-art games require agile hand motions that can prove challenging. "It's getting hard, it really is," she said, describing exercises she does with her fingers and hands every day to keep herself game ready. But she has no intention of giving up gaming. I won't put it down just because it's difficult. It's better than doing nothing. She hopes with practice she can improve further. I want to play well no matter how old I am, she said. I want to continue as long as possible. Mori is something of an evangelist for video games and encourages other older people to get into gaming or find other hobbies that keep them going. It doesn't have to be video games necessarily, but it's good to do something, said Mori, who swam regularly until the age of 80 and still knits. While Mori said she understands concerns about video game addiction, particularly among young people, she pointed out that gaming may have helped many survive lockdowns during the coronavirus. It's safer to play at home rather than going out, she said. For now, Mori is eagerly awaiting the release of the PlayStation 5 due to hit shops later this year. It's seriously preoccupying me, she said. I want one, I really do. The shame Sony's slowly abandoning Japan.
Yeah, because we could have more gamer grannies. Which again, Dio, get good, man. Get good, scrub. Granny's gonna beat you.
I see Disky has joined us. How you feeling, Disky?
Yeah, that's what I put. You feeling better today? Because yeah, he had been drinking, so his stomach was already kind of off anyway, and we were watching some. I puked a little into my mouth when I was watching that too, Disky. So don't feel bad. But I.
The lobster one didn't bother me, but I was set to be disturbed by the KFC bucket.
Oh, I was totally like ready. Like I knew what I was getting into with the lobster thing, even though that was so gross. But because I like, it's one thing to like, I don't know, food process your lobster and sea insects to be able to make like crab cake or lobster cakes or whatever. But it's just why is this man turning everything into sausage? I don't understand.
It's what he does. Now, I admit, watching the opening bits of the KFC family bucket, I appreciated the touch of the packet of honey added to the mixture.
Yeah, that I remember your comment, and yeah, I would have to agree. At least you did your biscuit right, But the only thing I wanted from any of that food was I just wanted the mashed potatoes plain and all the biscuits. I don't want any of the other stuff. Well, more like I can't eat any of the other stuff without horrible, horrible, horrible ramifications. Who want dolphins to help them give birth? Okay, I'm jumping into two places. One, they're gonna kill, eat, and rape your baby if you let them like freaking midwife that shit.
And in that order,
Or
too.
yeah. Or you are gonna have them help you give yourself. See, I don't know how any of that works, and I guess we'll see later on Disky's channel, but just no. Just no, do not do anything like that with dolphins. Just don't. It's,
I don't trust dolphins. They're cute and all, but every time science does anything with them, it ends with humans getting high and banging the dolphins.
yeah. Which I don't like. Man, those dolphins must have like fucking charisma and fucking attraction at a 20. So they get like, they go to roll their 20-sided dice and they're already getting plus 20 on any roll they make. Which, yeah, I do not want to do marine biology and study dolphins. I don't know.
Let's see. Quick update for gamers out there. This is the best video game bundle ever. The bundle for racial justice and equality includes over 740 projects. The bundle for racial justice and equality at itch.io is the best video game bundle we've ever seen. That isn't hyperbole. For a minimum donation of $5, you get more than 740 works, though I must point out that 740 works is in quotation marks, including some of our favorite games. But what makes this bundle truly special is the purpose. Proceeds will be split 50-50 between the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund and Community Bail Fund. You can donate however much you'd like. Naturally, we encourage more than $5 if you have the means to get games like Oxenfree, Overland, Art School, spelled Squool, Wide Ocean Big Jacket, Quadrilateral Cowboy, Gunhouse, and Fortune 499.
Why do all of these games sound like the educational versions, knockoff versions of like Amazon Trail and fucking Oregon Trail? And
I have a copy of Oxenfree because it was free at one point on Xbox Live, and I have never played it. It's one of those that I could possibly say is probably just a walking simulator, at least from the looks of it. So I've
Okay.
not really been drawn to it. And honestly, these are all your artsy fartsy games.
Yeah, because I'm only 5 years older than you, so and I know you've got to grow up a lot the same things I did, and you remember when like math blasters and all of those types of things existed,
Yeah.
and they, the all of the educational like companies were always trying to make some sort of like knockoff version of like whatever, like because they made like Math Frogger and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's just what all those video game titles that you listed sound like to me. It's like, oh, it's those
In this
games
case,
again.
it's probably stuff that's very story centric with very little gameplay. Let's see. The bundle also includes a short hike, one of our top 10 games of 2019, and a Mortician's Tale, one of my favorite games of 2017, which taught me about eco-friendly mortuary services. That one game alone is worth the donation. You failed to sell me with that entire sentence.
I, I eco. Say that word for me again, because my brain is
Eco-friendly
malfunctioning.
mortuary services.
How isn't it already an eco-friendly operation? I don't.
Depends. Things like embalming fluid tend to not be very eco-friendly because they're not very friendly to you as a person either.
Well, the only things that I can think of is that somehow they're getting like organically processed from formaldehyde, and they're using hemp filament 3D printed butt plugs.
No idea. It could even be talking about the carbon footprint from burning bodies for cremation, but regardless, if you don't mind your money ostensibly possibly being used to free people that are nothing more than raving lunatics that decided to burn down their own communities, there might be something in these 740 works that might intrigue you. So go take a look on itch.io.
Or if you just want to be ironic and buy all the SJW video games in one bundle, then there you go.
I'll admit, I will at least go take a look and see what's all in this bundle.
Yeah, see if there's even anything that is just ironic to play. Like if there's like a game that's like ultra SJW, it might be like fun to ironically play it.
Let's see, I'll save
You
that.
know, make your character be like a quad amputee, transgendered midget lesbian or something.
Yep. Let's see, I was going to
That
say
way you can hit all of the boxes at once. I want a walking simulator where I can play as a character who has no arms or legs.
Let's see. This looked like a good shit article. From the Sun. Your place or sign. How likely are you to have sex on the first date? It's written in the stars.
Sure it is, but okay.
Aquarians are most likely to be up for sex on the first date, a new survey has revealed. Those born
Hey.
those born from January 21st to February 18th include singer Harry Styles and actress Jennifer Aniston. A whopping 15% confessed to being a sure thing from day one. I seriously doubt that. People with a Pisces star sign, who include James Bond star Daniel Craig and singer Rihanna, come in second with 11%. The star sign, which is less likely to hop into beds, is Libra, which covers the birthdays of actors Gwyneth Paltrow and Matt Damon. 3% of those born under the sign of the two fish say they normally romp on the first date, the study revealed. That's Gemini, by the way.
Yes.
The poll of 2,000 British people by dating website Plenty of Fish found that 37% of us believe in horoscopes, with 20% say they would ditch a date if their stars didn't align. Shannon Smith from Plenty of Fish had this advice for hopeful lovers: be authentic on your profile. Don't be scared to list what truly interests you, like astrology.
I like astrology and having sex on the first date. You want to date me?
Well, I mean, at that point, you're not going to get much serious daters, are you?
Nope. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the first one totally targeting me. I don't know. I don't always like sex. And, well, a good
I'd like to know you're
60,
not
70...
I'd like to know you're not insane first. So it's about a 0% for me, unless we're drunk.
Oh, you and I are not having sex.
Oh,
definitely
not
on any
us.
date.
Never.
Ever.
No. You're far too manly. And by that I mean you have a penis, even if it's just, micro.
Yeah, even if it only is a half a plank length long, it's still a penis.
Well, I would like
Oh,
to know a
look, the
chick's
rat
not
joined
crazy.
us. You finally, the smoking rat deigns to visit us.
Woke up late. Did you really take a nap after we stopped talking at SideQuest like an hour before the show?
Yeah, we figured out one of your relatives, and sort of, I guess, maybe like an origin story for you, rat. It's got to be a relative. It's got to be like his great 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 grandpa or something.
Great, 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 great. Average lifespan of a rat's about 5 years, so great, great, great.
3 hours later.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Let's see. According to this, Aquarius comes in 1 at 15%, Pisces at 11%, Aries is number 3 at 10%, Taurus is also 10%, Gemini is 8%, Cancer is 9%. Why is Cancer below Gemini then? You realize 9 is more than 8. Leo is 9. That's still more than 8. Virgo is 7. Libra a 3.
Wow, Libra 3.
Scorpio is 8.
I would have figured they were much higher, but
Sagittarius a 6. Capricorn a 4.
Well, I am looking back at a lot of my older relationships, and yeah, there were a lot of just sex on the first date. Yeah.
You see, I live by the rule don't stick your dick in crazy. And by live by it, I mean I want to make sure you're the right kind of crazy first. So usually skip the first date unless the first date is we're both drunk at a party and it's just a hookup.
Yeah. Well, usually a lot of my like micro dating experiences, because like when I lived in San Fran,